Copyright law is probably one of the most complicated First Amendment laws because people cannot sort of decide whether or not it's really copyright or fair use. But we have asked the question, what is copyright law? We have to ask the question, what is copyright law? So, copyright is specifically a version of protection. So, copyright law is a specific version of protection law, specifically for people worried that someone else is copying their own work. Um, Copyright law provides protection to to publish and unpublished works. So specifically, uh, let's just say J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter. That's copyrighted material, and that's copyrighted IP. So no one can steal from that specific creation from that creator. So copyright's main purpose is to protect written works, musical works, uh, dramatic works, and uh, and cinematographic cinematographic works. All these apply to copyright protection, and copyright does not protect ideas, um, methods, systems, concepts, or principles, or discoveries, titles, names, uh, short phrases, and slogans. So that all those things do not apply to copyright law, but they don't apply to copyright law. So if someone's suing because someone stole another person's name, well, tough luck. I mean, for example, my name is Joe. There's another dude named Joe. Should I sue him for $1 million? No, not really. Because it's not, it doesn't work like that. You can't copy. You know, you can't sue someone for having the same name as you. It's just how it works. And it's just yeah, we'd be having like a lot of lawsuits if people sued each other for just having the same name. Okay. So familiar symbols and designs, copyright law lasts although the author lives 70 years after their death. Okay, so copyright laws last all through the author's life, but until 70 years after their death. So after the author dies, you have to wait 70 years later for it to be publicly used. So, for example, best case example, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Um, the author of that book died a long time ago. For let's just say A Christmas Carol, that the writer of that, the author of that, I believe, was Charles Dickens. He died almost 100 years ago. Um, so that sort of is publicly used all the time. You know, how many movies of A Christmas Carol are made? I mean, tons, tons. So, um, 70 years after their death. So basically nearly a century. If they're nearly like a century dead, then you can use their IPs. Then it's a public IP. Then it's a publicly known, publicly used IP. But unfortunately, if the author's still alive or hasn't been dead for 70 years, you cannot use that copyrighted material. The idea of fair use copyright law is mostly a defense to allegations of copyright law. For example, uh, digitalization of music parody, commercial versus nonprofit. Um, does not fair does fair use make it easy to copy someone else's work? Short answer is no. Um, it doesn't. It doesn't. Copyright law is very strict when it comes to sort of fair use. People who are accused of copyright law usually come out with the defense of fair use, and most of the time it fails. It does not work. Because again, like I said in the beginning, it's hard to really differ on what is copyright and what is not. For example, it has to be really clear that it's fair use. It has to be really clear what you're doing is parody. For example, I believe there is one artist that's exclusively parody law, which is Weird Al Yankovic. Uh, he gets all these hit songs and he rewrites them and he literally sings those songs with the same beat, same flow, same sort of technique as the original songs, but it's just with silly lyrics. And you know, Weird Al, has been using fair use for years. The idea of fair use for years because of parody law. So, in conclusion, the difference between copyright and fair use remains to be complicated, and in some cases, objective, whether or not something is copyright or not. But copyright gives authors um, the protection of their work in hope nobody copies their hard work and receives profit.